Cyber Innovations in the Private Sector highlights case studies and the latest industry trends from private vendors. Explore innovative solutions, success stories, and exclusive insights from industry leaders. Stay ahead with the cutting-edge developments driving the industry forward.
Today on CyberSecTV, we speak with Steve Hollands, CEO of Black Hills Quantum Computing, about quantum's impact on cybersecurity and preparing for the post-quantum era.
I'm Steve Hollands. I'm the CEO of Black Hills Quantum Computing, and we develop cutting-edge solutions, technology solutions in the quantum security area. But we also help with classical security questions, governance, data lifecycle, etc., frameworks, implementations. So there are a lot of aspects of the work that we do. It's quite broad. Well, my interest in cybersecurity came from a very young age already, in the 90s. And my fascination for quantum technologies emerged actually in the beginning of the 2000s. Even though I was born myself in 1982, I was a little bit too young to witness the earliest QKD developments. But later I immersed myself in the evolution of the field, so I was fascinated by how Bennett and Bressert introduced QKD as a concept in 1984, and after that examples from Arthur Eckert and his colleagues carrying out this practical implementation. I think it was in 1992, and for myself, when I studied cybersecurity more serious, one publication in 2013 caught my eye. It was about practical quantum key distribution in telecom components. And it showed me clearly that QKD was transitioning from laboratory demonstrations to practical deployments and using conventional telecom infrastructure. So that paper was the moment for me that connected all the dots, and it convinced me that quantum technologies would enter mainstream security far sooner than most people expected. For me personally, it became clear when I realized that the timelines that are predicted by mainstream academia were accelerating faster. They take only into account a linear progress towards one large cryptographic relevant quantum computer. And these predictions, they were made before the AI revolution that we see today. So, well, I hear the critics already talking. They say AI doesn't change number theory, etc. But what it does do, it reduces friction. What I mean by that is it optimizes circuit compilation, it tunes error correction layouts, for example, it automates parameter search, and expedites workflows from R&D integration to deployment, for example. So what I mean by that is that we are no longer at risk only by a full tolerant cryptographic relevant quantum computer. I call that the effective break capability, EBC, and it's almost equal to the algorithmic efficiency, computing scale times integration leverage. And any progress in any of these layers already multiplies this capability. So AI optimizes the quantum algorithms. High power computing can handle complex classical computation, error mitigation, for example. Quantum processes, they perform only the core mathematical operation that creates the exponential advantage. For example, at the period finding, and becoming the most critical aspect of that hybrid system. If people want to know more about what AI does in this concept, I wrote a couple of articles on LinkedIn, the Quantum Horizon series that people can follow. It's also going to be available on our website, on our blog. But that's a little bit the concept, why I feel that it is very crucial today. Well, I founded Black Hills Quantum because I saw the gap, a widening gap between the pace of technology and the changes and the preparedness of an organization to adapt. Most companies, they did have solid classical cybersecurity programs, but they had almost none had a roadmap towards quantum resilient architectures. So my mission was simple. I want to guide organizations from traditional security models into quantum safe infrastructures and doing that proactively and not reactively. So for me, it wasn't just about the cryptography part. It was all about also the governance, the data lifecycle strategy, architecture, and the long-term resilience. Well, the quantum threat is extremely serious, but not in the way that it's often described. Again, the danger is not that a perfect, full, tolerant quantum computer suddenly appears out of nothing. The real threat is the convergence of AI, HPC, and quantum capabilities. Of course, also the harvest now, decrypt later attack that is going on as we speak. So this hybridization, let's say, brings the effective threat much closer than the traditional academic models estimated, because quantum, it doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to be good enough to be part of a combined architecture. And that's why the urgency is much higher than previously thought or predicted. Well, as we see that AI and HPC have compressed the timelines, and that it will probably, the quantum assisted attacks will appear earlier than expected, I see 4 immediate steps that organizations should focus on. They should map their cryptographic exposure, so identify and all the locations where cryptography is used in the organization. You can use a CBOM tool for that. Then you need to classify long-lived data. You must know how long certain data needs to remain confidential. I should start already with transitioning towards NIST-aligned PQC migration. Even partial adoption will already reduce the exposure. And also prepare try to simulate these hybrid threats, combine AI, combine HPC and quantum attack models for realistic risk assessments. So I believe that organizations that prepare now, they will avoid high risk and higher cost transitions later. Well, quantum safe infrastructure is actually a complete architectural ecosystem. You should treat PQC as the cryptographic standard. You should apply quantum secure communication where needed. So I mean on the QKD components on the high value links, data center to data center, for example. You should embed hardware-based trust anchors and robust entropy sources. That could be with our MICT framework, mitigate, iterate, check, transform, and of course the implementation of QRNG, quantum random number generation. You must adopt also zero trust frameworks that are adapted to these quantum era threats. We also have an OMSTA framework for that, open, modular, zero trust architectures. These data center architectures, they need to be designed for long-term resilience. So that means you should implement a combination of defensive AI, quantum security that uses PQC plus QKD, and the correct governance to manage all the whole ecosystem. And AI can play a part in various parts of this infrastructure. So in fact, it's a full redesign of the trust and security principles, and you should align for this hybrid computing era that is coming. Well, I see the CISO role evolving from an operational defender to a strategic technology expert or architect, let's say. CISOs nowadays, they must lead on AI security, adversarial AI, cryptographic modernization, PQC adoption, quantum aware risk management, data lifecycle, retention, governance, the whole package. And of course, they deal with a complex, interconnected supply chain, which comes with their own risks. So for me, in the quantum era, let's call it the quantum era, CISOs, they are not just protecting the systems, they are shaping the organization's future resilience. So I actually call them quantum AI CISOs. That's how I see the role evolving. Well, Europe has a strong background with academic programs and government-backed initiatives, especially around quantum communication, QKD, and the frameworks, of course. The challenge in my eyes is scaling and commercialization speed. So Europe is well positioned, particularly in this quantum networking, quantum secure communication field, and of course with the standards, governance, leadership. But continued integration between academia, industry, and government, they will allow Europe to become a global leader in this quantum safe security field. What needs to happen for me? 3 things stand out. We need international interoperability standards. We need deep public-private partnerships, otherwise we're not going to manage. And we must implement the security-first design principles, and that across all quantum research and engineering. So quantum, it will become a global ecosystem. It won't become a national one, and therefore collaboration is needed with as much decent partners as possible. Well, I believe that the next decade will be defined by these hybrid systems, intelligent hybrid systems, not standalone quantum computers. Again, AI will refine optimization, HPC will handle the classical computational part, the heavy lifting, and quantum will focus on the specific parts where they can bring in the advantage of quantum. Period finding, again, the core mathematical functions, there they play the biggest role. It will reshape cybersecurity by driving a global transition, global cryptographic transition. There will become new communication and authentication models will be implemented and invented. Quantum resilient infrastructure is going to be very important, and of course quantum aware trust frameworks need to be implemented as well, because quantum, in my belief, it won't replace classical computing, it will supercharge it. That combination will fundamentally rewrite the rules of digital security. I believe that the cooperation between academia, private-public partners to help roll out and scale this up quickly will be very important, and we are working on it ourselves with Black Hills Quantum, but also we work in the public-private sector with other partners and our ecosystem in Belgium and internationally. The Belgian Quantum Circle, I want to call, and the Quantum Security and Defense Association. I also want to point out that we are members of those ecosystems, and we believe that the cooperation amongst all these partners will see through that Europe will be or will remain one of the biggest global players in quantum computing technologies. They can go to our website, blackhillsquantum.com. They can also find me and my companies on LinkedIn. And please follow our Quantum Horizon series, where we dive deeper in some of these subjects, especially the hybrid systems, for example, but also our views on how cybersecurity needs to evolve. And we see that it needs to evolve like the immunity system of your body, let's say. It's going to be evolving so fast and so quickly that we need to stay up to date with all these evolutions. Predominantly, I believe that the threat, the risk of current encryption being broken will come faster than predicted.